involved in watching this grow from their perspective, and their opinion and support definitely means a lot.
We are live on 102.5 at 6th and Peabody with Yeehaw Beer, Old Smoky Moonshine. Big thanks to our hosts here tonight on stage and making it happen each and every Monday. You can join us here on site 6 to 7, Monday evenings on 102.5 The Game. And our sponsors, a huge thank you to the Low T Center, lowtcenter.com, and Xander Insurance. TSU wins 37-17 over Eastern Illinois. Third win in a row, now 3-4 on the season, 2-0 in OVC play. The next game coming up against Murray State this coming weekend on the road at 2 o'clock kickoff, 1:30 pregame on 94.9 The Fan. Cheers to another victory. We do that.
I need some more. I'm
doing this now while Eddie still has something.
I like this show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's very laid back. And a good-looking crowd, too.
Yeah, we've got our picture here. We'll get Eddie ready to go. Yeah, we got a great crowd, and more and more fans coming out. Every week, though, you're averaging like 3 or 4 tables of Ohio State fans.
You know what? OH in the house? I got one.
Over here?
Got one, yeah.
You met with someone earlier?
Yeah,
Yes.
every week has been somebody in here from Ohio State.
Are y'all winning? Are y'all? Yeah. Marvin Harrison's son is the truth.
Listen, look.
He is busy.
I went up there in the summer, and it was spring ball, and watched them practice, and everyone was enamored with Jax. I can't pronounce his name. And Digby Jackson, number 11.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, number 18, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a beast. Of course, his father is a Hall of Famer, incredible route runner, incredible receiver, but he's his dad in a 6'3" body and runs a 4.3 and catches anything in a 6-foot radius. Anything. He's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he might be, one of the top five picks in the NFL draft next year. He's that good.
So he's leaving.
Yeah.
If he's able to leave, he needs to pack his bags.
Keith, what about Syracuse? I know it was a tight game against Clemson, but what a year so far, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid just because I know as a team, we have a ways to go. Even just like yesterday's game, we have Sean Tucker, who's one of the top running backs in the country. They only gave him the ball 5 times. He had 54 yards. I'm trying to figure out when the running game wasn't working,
Yeah.
And you have a 21-10 lead at halftime, and you had 4 turnovers. So that's telling me we didn't get many points off. We got 7 points off of our turnovers. We left a lot on the field, and a team like Clemson, who's been there before, and we really haven't, they're battle-tested. Their coaching staff is, their players are, so they showed some resiliency and pulled it out in the end and pitched the shutout in the second half. But I'm happy for those kids at Syracuse to be able to experience being nationally ranked,
Big
being
game.
the top 20 team. Yeah, absolutely. Playing for something in October, November. They're bowl eligible, so hopefully we can steal some recruits from Ohio State and UT and build our program back to where it used to be.
Got to get that NIL going.
Yeah, I know, right?
I do think Ohio State is the best team in the country, even though they're not playing the SEC slate. And we can get to that later if you want to.
Yeah,
you don't agree?
As much as the little college football that I have seen,
I would still take. I would
want to
take
say
OH
this.
You take them over Georgia?
Yes, I think Ohio State's the most talented team in the country.
I would say I'm going to go with UT. I think UT, even if UT loses to Georgia and they win out, they still deserve a seat at the table. Even without an SEC championship, I think the best 3 teams or the best 4 teams in the country, Georgia, Alabama, UT, Ohio State.
615-737-1025, our number if you want to talk with Eddie and Keith. It's tough to really judge right now with the unbeatens. I'll say this, though, Ohio State can beat you so many different ways. And they're not going to be tested like Tennessee, Georgia, or Alabama because they're not going through that same regular season slate.
Right.
We're just player for player. The Buckeyes, they've got it, man.
Yeah, they're nice. I mean, they have a running game.
They've got Penn State this week. This is Penn State's Super Bowl now because they got routed by Michigan a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and they're going to get routed again at home.
There you go.
So that's how that's going to go.
That's
how it's going to go.
I like what you said about UT, though. Just being here living in Tennessee, you can't help but to know what's going on with the Vols. And I think that from where they came last year with Heupel to now, Hendon Hooker is poised in the pocket. He's got some top receivers, even without his number one.
Tillman's.
Cedric
Tillman.
Cedric Tillman's out, but Hendon Hooker, not Hendon Hooker. Who's the
number 11?
Yes. He stepped up. What's his name?
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt has absolutely stepped up and emerged as the number one. Almost like Jalen Rouse on your team when Devon Sterling was out. Rouse stepped up and took that number one running back spot and has owned it just like Hyatt is doing with UT. So, that just builds for more depth when the number one comes back like you're experiencing in your backfield.
No question. And I know they gave up a lot of points to Alabama, their defense, but I think their defense has enough to make a serious playoff run. They can make a stop here or there. They got playmakers over there, and they're believing in what they're doing. Typically, you have pretenders that are undefeated. You play Alabama. No, they went out and got it and did it at home on a big stage, and they came back the following week and didn't lay. You didn't see that law that laid. They went out and took care of business. A team they should have beaten. So now we're gonna find out. I guess they play Kentucky this week.
Yes,
and that's going to be an interesting game. They get past that one, and regardless, again, if they go in and they lose to Georgia, and they lose close, you can't knock them out of the top four.
It's going to be a ball game.
It's going to be a ball game. But if they lose close, or even if they lose big, I still think Tennessee is one of the top teams in the country if they went out and if they suffer one loss in the back end of their schedule.
Traylon Ellis, man. What a run he's been on since he came back from injury.
Yeah.
He's been the fuel. He's been the
gas.
He
calls him Willie Beeman.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's dealing.
The first game that I'm sorry, Coach.
No, go ahead. Please.
The first game I saw was against Lane. In person.
Yeah.
Was against Lane, and Ellis wasn't in the lineup, and they had to go with a couple backups, and it was a strictly RPO game, and there were some mistakes made from the quarterback position. But as you see, when Ellis came back, he immediately was for homecoming. That's the first time I got to see him up close, and he immediately, you could tell he was in control of the offense. He had poise. He knew where to go with the ball. He was making decisions right away. Even when he was moving around in the pocket, he's trying to make plays down the field, not necessarily use his legs, although he can. He understands the game, and, it's interesting what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these kids are middle of the year, they're transfers. So they're just now learning the offense, learning their teammates, learning where they're supposed to be, learning what's being asked of them since April. It's just now clicking in October. So it's really cool to see, the leadership that Eddie's been looking for, that he spoke about in September, starting to emerge. The young man that you spoke about, the safety, Josh Green.
Josh Green, yes.
He's one of the leaders that he spoke about in, his pregame when we were speaking before the game. And Josh Green had a big play to seal the game, get an interception. When the other in Eastern Illinois was kind of trying to do some stuff, Josh Green closed the door, made a play. So that's what leaders do.
And you talk about, we didn't get Draylon until the summer. He didn't have a chance to come through the spring. So on paper, you say, okay, this is a talented team, but we're not a team. It's still individuals trying to become a team, and that's what we experienced early on. We were fighting the standard early on. It had nothing to do with the other team. It had everything to do with us in terms of doing things the right way. You have to behave like a champion before you become one. And we weren't behaving that way. It was a lot of selfish play, and rightfully so, because they're coming in with one idea in mind. I got to get mine. But in order to get yours, you have to lend that over and sacrifice that to help your teammate, and you'll be surprised that all boats rise when you have that mentality. So I think we still have remnants of that I have to address on a daily basis, but I think we're moving more toward becoming a team. And Draylon, I was watching the tape today. He's, like Keith said, he's feeling more confident in the play calling, more confident in the protection up front, confident in his receivers. We have some playmakers that can make plays, and he's just distributing that ball out there like he needs to. And if his legs, we require him to use his legs at times, he's going to do that. So he's been a blessing, but I still think he's left a lot of plays out in the field where he had his first 300-yard game, this past week. He could have had 400, if he makes the right reads and stays patient with a couple things, took a couple bad sacks. So those things we can build on.
And he was injured in the first half against Middle.
Yeah.
Missed a game. And this past week went over 1,000 yards passing.
Yeah, and now we're approaching the meat of our schedule where we need it the most. So, yeah.
Eddie George. It's the Eddie George Show with Keith Bullock in the house at 6th and Peabody. You can join us after TSU's win 37-17 over Eastern Illinois.
Listen to that crowd.
It's great. Look, we've got wide open phone lines. We can talk all things college football, NFL. I got to find out from these guys who's actually good right now in the NFL. I can name like 4 teams who I would.
Buffalo, periods. End of story.
Well, hang on. Don't answer yet.
Okay. That's
Keith knows about the media shows and the teasers now.
That's a teaser.
There's only like 4 legitimate teams. At least that's my contention. And then there's a bunch of teams that I have no idea where they're going.
I say there's 2.
Okay.
I put 2 out there, 2.
So less than, even more so. I got to find out who can now rise to the occasion. Plus, you can talk TSU football. Keith's on the call. Eddie's on the sidelines making the call. 615-737-1025. You can make the call with us. It's the Eddie George Show, presented by the Low T Center and by Zander Insurance. If you need your annual health exam, I recommend going to Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They're going to check all your levels, not just your T level, at lowtcenter.com. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. If it's not, it's very affordable, less than $100 for a full lab panel, and an office visit with their medical provider will also give you that complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy. They'll even verify your insurance for you there. If you don't live near a Low T Center, and chances are if you're hearing this right now through the game, you do. For instance, I went to the one in Murfreesboro. Very easy, and you don't have to go in person after your first 2 visits. They make it very easy for you with at-home treatment. Low T Center makes it easy to get started, just your first 2 visits in person. lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to get started. That's how you book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's health care.
College football.
Touchdown, Georgia. Nice catch and move by Holden. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Lives here. Don't miss every exciting play each Saturday.
Into the end zone. Touchdown to the freshman, Dane Key.
It's all presented by Twin Peaks, your home of 20-degree drafts and wall-to-wall sports, and by Superbook Sports on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that you can always find new players or game props that you like. And what's cool about FanDuel is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game for an even bigger payout, which is perfect for tonight's game. Gotta feel great about the Patriots and their chances this week because Chicago ain't very good. FanDuel is easy to use, easy to register, easy to deposit, and easy to find your bet. They've also got live betting so you can place your bet fast during the game if you see a trend you like. And you get fast withdrawals. When you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings quickly. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up with the promo code JGM for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code JGM and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the latest power tool in roofing. Searching, ordering, tracking. Plus the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Go to BECN.com to get started building with Beacon. Beacon, always building.
Welcome to Smashville. Your Nashville Predators are closing out the month of October with 2 home games. Catch your Preds in a division matchup against the St. Louis Blues on Thursday, October 27th. And don't miss the Halloween festivities on Saturday, October 29th, when your Preds take on the Washington Capitals. It's always a good time in Smashville. So be the 7th man, get your fang fingers ready, and head to NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seats today. We can't wait to see you at Bridgestone Arena. Let's go, Preds!
This is the Eddie George Show on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The Eddie George Show presented by the Low T Center and by Xander Insurance with special guest Keith Bullock. I'm Jonathan Hutton. TSU Tigers, 3 wins in a row. And now head to Murray State.
Yep.
You get your 3rd consecutive OVC matchup coming up, Coach.
Yep. And it's not going to be easy. I mean, you look at Murray State, they haven't won a game this year, but that doesn't mean anything. You throw it all out the window because that's going to be our toughest opponent to date because they have the personnel to get it done. They just haven't had the breaks go their way, much like we were 3 weeks ago. That's who they are now. And we can't fall into that trap of, okay, they haven't won a game. They go, nah, we got to go out and take it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be their homecoming. They're going to be excited to see us. They played UT Martin tough. That game was a 1-score game with 13 minutes left in the 4th quarter. And their issue has been turnovers and not taking care of the football and having bad things happen to them. So in order for us to take that next step to where we want to be and who we think we want to be, we've got to be really mindful of our preparation this week and go up there and try to get a W. It's going to be a hard-fought game for sure.
Coach, how do you get your guys focused, after going against the Eastern Illinois team who you knew they were going to come in and run the ball. They were average 180 yards on the ground, and I don't think you guys gave up over 200 yards total offense at all. How do you keep them in starting the season off 0-4 on a 3-game win streak, having a great game like you just did offensively and defensively? Mm-hmm. How do you keep them grounded to come back to face a team that hasn't won at all?
Well, that's going to be my message tomorrow is respect, respecting our opponent. If you respect your opponent, you're going to have proper preparation going into that week. And they're going to understand. I'm going to show clips like, this team is making plays. And this is how we felt against Lane. You think you just throw your helmet out on the field. Nah, it's not like that. Championship football, you got to take it in the end. And you're going to face teams that, doesn't have much success. But if you're a real champion, if you're really about that life, you go out there and you take care of business early. And that's got to be the mindset, is to attack, play our game early, don't wait. And go out here and come away with the victory. You're going to have to fight and scrap for it like we did everything else.
Let's go to the phones, and we say hello to David, who is first up today. You call in, you go to front of the line. David, welcome into the Eddie George Show with Keith Bullitt.
Hey, Eddie, how you doing?
Hey, David, what's up, my man?
Oh, nothing. I was at the game on Saturday, and first of all, I got 2 or 3 questions, and y'all have improved a whole lot since first, and that's understandable. You got a good team, and hopefully you and us fans can win the OVC again. But let me ask you something about homecoming weekend. How many recruits did you have coming in for homecoming weekend?
Homecoming weekend, we had about 200 or so recruits. 250 recruits coming for homecoming weekend.
Okay. All right. That's good. My next question is, I'm
curious where you're going.
My next question is about officiating. When Eastern Illinois player run into TSU punter, he didn't get a flag or nothing. TSU run into their punter, we get a flag. I saw you pacing the sideline, and I seen smoke come from your head, because I know you was pissed off and you wanted to just get away from everybody. But what did they tell you about the second one, the one that they threw the flag on against you?
They give you an explanation?
Yeah, they said that our guys ran into him, and they felt like it was egregious. But for some strange reason, it wasn't reciprocated for us. I mean, which is crazy to me. I didn't understand.
Yours was worse.
That call.
What'd you say on the air, Keith?
I said, how was that not called? That was clearly running into the kicker.
You can't get fined, so I'm going to ask you.
Right.
That was clearly running into the kicker.
Right. No, he mentioned something, about the number of recruits we had at a homecoming weekend. We had 250. I think we had another 200 this past weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot this weekend for sure.
There was packed against in homecoming in Nissan. It was like 20,000 inside, another 20,000 outside.
It took me from the Tiger Mart. It took me 45 minutes to get to the S lot.
But here's the disappointing part of it.
That's awesome.
This past weekend, you probably got there in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I mean, it was less than, I'm going to say, 5,000 fans in the stands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that part of it was like a little disappointing to see that. To see where it was from homecoming to now we're starting to make a run, have some success. We want to get that fever going and the fan support going. So hopefully, they can come out and support us. Because, it's nothing like having that home field advantage, especially that was a big deal for us during homecoming. And you could feel the energy, you could feel the support there, and our kids fed off of that. So hopefully as we continue to move forward and reel off some wins, we'll get more and more fans to come out.
So, the first game that I was able to do against Lane, it was actually on campus at TSU. That thing was sold out.
Yeah, well.
It's not sold out. It was completely packed. I don't know if tickets were free or not, but it was completely packed. And I know that although it wasn't a win, it was great for the university. It was great for the student body as well as for the team to see that the student body really has their back other than homecoming. So what is the process to make that a possibility week in and week out where, the kids can roll out of bed at 11:30, grab something to eat and then be right there supporting their team and not having to make that trek to Nissan, which I'm sure can be a little tedious.
We talk about that every day, in terms of how we can make the fan experience better, especially for our students. No question, the energy at Hale was incredible. I think it serves us in a great way. But there are some opportunities with the Tennessee Titans in the new stadium where we can have a couple of games there and also have a footprint at Hale Stadium as well. So we still have to improve on the infrastructure, the buildings, the stadium, the field. We have to address those things to make it more appealing for our student athletes to come.
How do you go about, what's the process? Because I think Nashville, the way this city is growing, getting a new stadium, all those things, why can't TSU host a national, a classic, in the beginning, in August or September? What is the process of that to be an annual classic?
Well, I think they had one, I believe, with FAMU, but that was in Atlanta. But that's what we're working on constantly. I think, our fan base has an appetite for, another HBCU matchup. A FAMU, a Jackson State, Alabama A&M, Alabama State. That's what we have an appetite for. So we're constantly looking for those opportunities. I think it's going to appeal itself over the next couple of years once we can address, what we're going to do on campus and how we can find that win-win between the Titans Stadium and us.
Oh, that dome. There'll be a classic here when the dome's here.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about the grass if the Titans are playing the day after you want to host the classic. It doesn't really matter at that point.
Yeah.
And that's how you turn in a weekly an annual event. It doesn't matter what the NFL
and
doing.
You can stay there. They're going to have restaurants. You're going to have entertainment. It's not like you go to a Titans game and then you have to walk across the bridge. You can stay right there and party and eat and tailgate and have all these events right there. So it's going to be conducive for a big time event, in the near future.
Can't wait.
I bet you. He has a coffee shop too out in Franklin.
And I bet he's about to have one on the other
Yes,
side
he
of the
should.
river, isn't
Absolutely, he should.
Cool. We'll see.
Free coffee after Titans victories.
See. I do that.
Victory
I do
Monday.
Victory
I know you
Mondays
do.
at my shop.
Go ahead.
If you're
Shout it
not
out.
aware, I have a coffee shop in Franklin, Just Love Coffee, and every Monday after the Titans win, from 6:30 when we open to I think 8:39, we get free coffee and cinnamon rolls.
You know this dude?
Off McEwen.
He goes in there like
I
I
know
don't
he
know if he
does.
still does now, but he goes in early in the morning.
He does.
Does everything, makes the food, makes the sandwiches, and all. It's amazing to watch him do his thing. He does it online, hands on.
Chef Bully.
My
Chef
turf,
Bully.
my turf toe started to act up. I was in the kitchen so much.
But nah, he makes a hell of a waffle too, with the fruity pebbles on top. That was outstanding.
Fruity pebble waffle.
Yeah.
We've got Keith Bullock as our special guest tonight for the Eddie George Show, presented by the Low T Center and Xander Insurance. Phone lines available. Nate wants to jump in on the Titans offense. We're going to do that. We'll talk some college football as well. 615-737-1025. It's the Eddie George Show from 6th and Peabody on 1025 The Game.
Want a chance to win tickets to an upcoming Preds game?
Yes.
Tune in to Robbie and Rexroad every weekday Preds game day at 8:45 for Preds Pick to Click. Guess a goal scorer and win.
I'll take Roman Yost.
Pick to Click is brought to you by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Visit tjandersonhomes.com to see why they are referred so often. And by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. Download their app today.
Preds Pick to Click.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Eddie George. You know we all have crazy busy lives and don't take time to research car insurance, right? Well, you don't have to. Xander Insurance does all the work for you. Their system shops over 15 top companies to find you the best rates, and they keep shopping every year. Their clients have saved an average of $600. That's why I'm a client. Xander gives me more options. More options means more savings. Get free quotes at xanderinsurance.com or call 800-356-1780.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
The Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce is celebrating 175 years of creating economic prosperity by facilitating community leadership in the Nashville region. Join their annual celebration presented by PNC Bank on October 25th from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. at the Renaissance Nashville Hotel. Enjoy networking, breakfast, and an immersive We Are Nashville experience designed to inspire conversations and take simple but meaningful actions to embrace and preserve the unique character of our city. Get tickets at the door. More information at celebrate.nashvillechamber.com.
Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hey Nashville, it's Chef Phillip at Bar Lines at the Omni Hotel. Come try our new hot dog burn ends. Nathan's all beef hot dogs smoked over pecan wood, tossed in honey sriracha barbecue, topped with a cool crema and crisp spring onions. One of my favorites.
Attending an event downtown? Dine at Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey Nashville, this is Penny Hardaway, University of Memphis coach. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
This is #1 champion sound. Yeah, Estelle, we about to get down. Who the hottest in the world right now?
It's the Eddie George Show on 102.5 The Game. You can catch TSU take on Murray this coming Saturday, 94.9 The Fan. Pre-game begins at 1:30. Kickoff at 2 o'clock as the Tigers are back on the road. Shout out to C-Wiz, who's back tonight at 6th and Peabody with us, making it happen.
Killing it, man, as usual.
Yeah, he's in every week now.
Every week. He did our game this past weekend, as usual, at the Tennessee State and Nissan Stadium.
I heard him as I was coming across the walk bridge yesterday.
For the tailgate.
I heard him.
The dude kills
Wizzy and Slay, man, they've got it.
He's at Hard Rock Cafes on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in town, listen, if you're in town Saturday night this weekend, you want a good time, go listen to this man DJ at the Hard Rock Cafe. Trust me, it'll be a great time.
He is on social media at Wizzy
crowd
Baby.
only.
Same for this show. Yeah, we welcome your phone call, 737-1025. It is the Eddie George Show presented by the Low T Center and by Xander Insurance. All right. Nate's well, you know what? Let's go to Nate first. We'll talk Titans football, and we'll let. I promise. You guys call in. You go to front of the line. Nate, welcome in. Let's discuss the Titans' victory over the Colts.
Hey guys, I'm interested to hear all your opinions on this question. So the Titans' defense seems to be winning games for the Titans in these gritty, kind of culturally defining games. How long does this continue before defense wears out? We saw a little bit of that yesterday with Jefferson's ankle. And what does the Titans' offense need to do to pull their weight?
All right, so let me, and I'm with him on this because we had this topic today. How sustainable is the Titans' path to victory right now?
Well, I mean, again, I haven't seen every play. I did watch most of yesterday. And clearly their defense is carrying them right now. Looking at the stats, 13 for 20, 132 yards for Tannehill. That's not very sustainable. It doesn't produce a recipe for success to be a 12, 13 win team this year in the NFL. He is going to have to make plays down the field. And I think a lot of that has to do with his receivers on the outside. He doesn't have the chemistry or the trust yet, or they haven't been able to have that breakout. No speed. You can go on and on. I mean, he's did it with A.J. Brown. I mean, that just goes to show you the value that A.J. had when he was here. Even when he wasn't making plays, you had to account for his playmaking ability, and only helps Derrick Henry out. So, look at Derrick. He has 30 attempts for 128 yards. So they're leaning heavy on
numbers. Right?
Yes. So he's getting big with no touchdowns. So you almost have to think, okay, at some point in time, they're going to have to figure out who on the perimeter, who's going to make plays for them. So I think that the time is ticking, and as teams get better during the course of a year, I haven't seen them get better in that regard yet. So I'm curious to see how that plays out as the season wears on.
Yeah, I don't think it's very sustainable at all. It's good enough to win the AFC South.
Yeah.
And the AFC South isn't a good division. It's not a strong division, I should say.
Matt Ryan got benched today.
Yeah, exactly. That being said, they don't have anyone. They don't have any team speed. No one scares me on the outside. So that's why Derrick Henry needs 30. He's going to get a lot of carries to get, a little over 100 yards, whereas you would see him in years before where he would get 150 yards.
At halftime.
Right. You know what I'm saying? With like 17 or 18
with
carries.
a 74-yard touchdown.
Because they have someone to stretch the field at the wide receiver position. There's no one at the wide receiver position from the Titans that scares me at 45 if I was a DB. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it a little too far. I'm taking it a little too far with that. But my point being is no one, they don't have anyone that's going to take the top off the defense to make those corners and most especially those safeties that fill the box respect the deep pass. So, they're waiting on Traylon Burks, the first rounder, to come back hopefully, and Kyle Phillips. But those are two rookies, and I wouldn't want to put my dependence on two rookies who haven't made plays in this league yet.
When you see safeties hovering around, 10 to 9 yards, and that's showing no respect. Like, hey, you know what? Derrick's not going to beat us. If you beat us on the outside, God bless you. But that's not going to happen if they're based off of what they have on the outside.
I mean, it's got to be Derek. He's got to be the baddest man in the NFL. To take a line from Mike Keith, I mean, he's got to be that guy, because Vrabel's even saying it postgame. He's being asked the question by Koharski, like, hey, Tannehill didn't put you in harm's way. And he's like, yeah, that's how we have to win right now.
Right.
That's not how you win the playoffs.
No.
Right? And that's where this team is now judged. That's just fair. And that's a compliment to them. They're back to that level. There's an expectation. And you have to win different ways in the postseason.
Well, I said it last week, I think, on one of these shows. They're back to the scrappy Mike Mularkey, the team that Mike Mularkey took into the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're back to that style of Titans football. You know, they're going to win. They're going to scrap it out. They're going to get a seed in the playoffs because they're going to win the division. But are they going to be the strongest team in the playoffs? No, not at all. They can get a first-round win, but they don't have championship football formula at this point in the season.
And there's not many teams that do right now in the NFL. When we come back, we'll get their take, Keith, Eddie, on who's really good right now in the NFL, and maybe their list is shorter than mine. I don't know. Well, it's the Eddie George Show. Look at Keith. He's like, yeah, it is short. It's the Eddie George Show, presented by the Low T Center and by Xander Insurance. We welcome your phone calls, plus we talk NFL next on 102.5 The Game.
Your home for the MTSU Blue Raiders is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Every touchdown.
Yes, touchdown.
Every three.
Free ball, yes, sir.
It all lives here.
Middle Tennessee.
You can also hear the Blue Raiders in the Borough on 97.5. Middle Tennessee Athletics on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
A chance for strong thunderstorms building for the day on Tuesday. We'll see a few that could turn strong with severe wind. Heavy rain possible as well, highs in the mid-70s. For Fox 17, I'm Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Hey, it's Mike from Newton Nissan South. At this time of year, I think back to when I was a kid and wonder why my parents always told me to never take candy from strangers, but would then on Halloween have me knock on strangers' doors and ask for it. Weird, right? You know, they always say strange things happen on Halloween. I guess that's true here too. Strangely enough, our cars keep disappearing, but that's probably due to our falling prices and excellent customer service. At Newton, we put customers first. We actually listen to your needs and try to find the best and most affordable option for you. It must be working because these cars just keep disappearing. Don't let that scare you though. We have new ones on the lot every day. So no matter if you're in the market for a new car, looking to sell your car, or looking to service your car to keep it running at its peak, come on down to Newton and check out our spooky deals or visit us online at newtonnissansouth.com.
This is the Eddie George Show on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's the Eddie George Show, presented by the Low T Center and by Xander Insurance, live every Monday leading up to Monday Night Football on the big screens here at 6th and Peabody. Tonight it's the Patriots and the Bears. Mac Jones is returning. It's terrible weather. probably another terrible game. But now that I say that, it's going to be high scoring for the NFL. Look at so. All right, who's good right now?
Well,
who's
the Bills and the Chiefs? Are definitely good.
They're top echelon.
Who's the top? So Philadelphia.
They're good.
And then you have so then you talk about like Dallas and
That's where I want to know where the line is.
See, Dallas. I don't know. What do you think, Ed? You go.
You said it best. I said the Bills without question. Bills, Chiefs without question. I look at the Eagles next. They're able to run the football. They have a great offensive line. Defensive line is nasty. I like the Cowboys. Their defensive line and the fact that they've been able to. But I like the Giants too. The NFC East is now a problem over there.
Right.
Even Washington's playing good ball, right? Because they're able to run the football, play great defense. The Cowboys' front defensive line is serious.
Micah Parsons is.
Oh my God!
I've seen that kid grow since he was 17. Micah.
What makes him different?
You know what? He loves the game. I say I got to see him grow since he was 17 because I used to do the Nike camps, the Nike opening where all the top kids in the country come to Oregon and they do 7-on-7 and all these different skills.
I meant to bring that up when we talked recruiting earlier.
Yeah, but Micah, he was there to be an outside linebacker, but then he also wanted to play wide receiver and running back
Everything
and
else.
defensive end. He went down and pass rushed, you know what I mean? So he's always had this motor and love and affinity for the game, and then when you get with a coach that can understand and recognize talent and doesn't try and bottle it up and allows him to be multifaceted and line up in different positions along the defensive line and in the back, the offense has a hard time to account for him, so it allows him to make more plays because the coach is being open-minded about the player that he has.
Is he the closest thing you've seen to LT?
No, not at all. I mean,
okay.
I'm just going to kill that noise right now. Obviously, Lawrence Taylor was I probably was 9 or 10 when I started paying it. When Lawrence Taylor was towards the end of his career, but you just turn on the tape of LT, he was always dominant. And the second-year guy, you can't do that. Nah, I need to see more. Give me 3 more years of play at this rate, then maybe we can start talking about it. Get a couple of defensive MVPs, then we can start talking about it.
All right. But athletically speaking, though.
Athletically, he's good. Javon, he's no more athletic than Javon Curse. He's not something that we haven't seen, but he is for this era of football. I like the new age prototypical linebacker because you can also drop him in coverage.
Yes.
You can also have him cover a back or a tight end or run up the slot.
Yes.
And he pass rushes with actual real pass rush skills.
Right. He's a beast. He's an all-around weapon. So you got, no question.
I mean, he can legitimately be the top player on defense in the league.
He might be the top player in the league.
Right now.
Including offense.
He has a total package. He definitely does. And that's good for him. Absolutely. Because I could cover. I could do all the open field stuff. I could rush the passer, but I ain't have no moves. I wasn't gonna get you no sacks. I'm just an extra guy.
You had the skip swim joint.
I had the
grab by the shoulder and swim.
Had Eddie Robinson 1980, 1990 package.
There's something different too about a guy who a couple of weeks ago he left because of a groin injury. He only rushed on 3rd down. Late in the game they put him in, and then the final possession, he's getting 2 sacks and a forced fumble.
He's impacting the game
when it matters most, even when he's injured. And again, that's just a different level of elite.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, Eddie can attest. It's okay, he's got the ball 33 times a game and just pounding. But he knows this 3rd and 2 is crucial, and he's gonna get every third and he's gonna get every inch in the 4th quarter because he knows that's his time. It's time to turn up. Whereas myself, a certain situation, it's 3rd and 8, and they might want to try and get, Antonio Gates the ball, or they're going to try and get the ball to Fred Taylor, and I know it's on my watch. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Those type players step up, and those are the moments that you look for. So, those are the moments that make you the player that you become.
All right, final thing on the NFL as far as who's good, who's not. Baltimore and Miami.
I'm not buying Baltimore. I'm not buying Miami. Baltimore, I think that we've seen Lamar Jackson's best. And
this year or 2019 MVP?
2019 MVP. That was his best. I don't think he's going to get any better.
For the players' sake, I hope we haven't.
I mean, I think they're good, but I haven't seen that growth in terms of being consistent in the pocket. You know, he needs to run around and make plays. At some point, you got to stand back there and drive that ball in there in the tight windows consistently. And it's going back to his rookie year. He's doing the same thing in those situations now, and that's probably why he's not seeing the money that they want, that he's asking for. And I get it from that perspective. The Dolphins, still, I'm not sold on Tua. You know, at any given point, he's playing, you know, with his health at this point. To see that hit against Cincinnati and him coming back so early is a little bit too much. Him going down with his head.
I know.
You know, he's still not smart, and it's one of, you would hate to see. All it takes is one more hit.
No quarterback should do that now.
Nah.
Not with the eye in the sky.
Yeah, he should be called for targeting. You know, quarterback should be called for targeting. You know, if you want to protect him, call him for targeting. And find him. You know, so that's kind of how I feel. I'm not buying Baltimore or Miami.
I think Miami has more of the upside just because they're not relying solely on their quarterback. You know, it's a Lamar Jackson show, and they're not even paying for the show.
Yeah.
You know, for Lamar Jackson to be out there on the field this year is absolute crazy to me. That's the businessman and me talking, you know what I'm saying? But to what Eddie's saying, like, he's playing himself into a payday that he probably wouldn't have taken before the season, but his play isn't
reflecting it.
Yeah,
right?
and it's unfortunate because the Ravens, they're not spending the money to put anybody around him. You know what I mean?
They traded Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, so he's really at the mercy of the game and the play calls, and that really revolves around him making the plays. And the Dolphins, I just think that they're a more complete team. If they get the running game going a little more, they have a good secondary. Tua has weapons. He has Waddle. He has Tyreek Evans. He has he has those two right there, and he has a good tight end too. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, Jasicki. And then he's got, you're right, Waddle and Hill, the fastest two receiver combo.
And he has that, and they're locked in. They're locked in, you know. So
and Hill's putting up numbers even without Tua in the game.
Yeah, so I think that they got a better formula, and that being down there in South Florida, they actually have their fan base, air quotes, behind them. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. All right, final thoughts before we get Eddie's keys to the game this weekend. Best story. This is the Eddie George Show, Keith. You know how this rolls.
Yeah.
You know how we all live. I mean, here we go, on the table.
Yeah.
Best story from Titans Oilers alumni weekend.
Wow.
Or best conversation. It can be whatever you want it to be.
I think my best conversation, I think I had a bunch. I always like going to those things because I get to see, meet some of the Oilers that I may know, and to see some of the teammates I haven't seen in a while. But like to hang out with Eddie Robinson, Greg Favors, and Randall Godfrey, because when I was a rookie, those are my linebackers, and they used to.
That's cool.
They used to be on me.
Yes.
So, like being retired and everybody being an adult, and then obviously Eddie Robinson, he's the coach obviously that had the
with
Deion Sanders situation,
yeah.
And like him being my former teammate and him being an old school SWAT guy, I understand what he's trying to do. Set a foundation, for his team, for his squad.
Said the same thing. Yep.
And, it's just funny to be able to talk about that, and the same jokes that we had like 20 years ago just start coming back.
You know what's funny about this? As great as a player as Keith was, you know, he had to earn his stripes with us.
He was on special teams.
Think about it.
He's a first-round pick on special teams.
He hated special teams. He couldn't stand it. He tried everything to get all. Like, I have no special teams player.
Titans got some first-round dudes who love it all of a sudden.
Oh my God, he couldn't stand it. To his dad, he was selfish back then. I was like, this is how you gonna help us get better, man.
That was great.
You're being selfish right now. I said, I get drafted for this. Trade me. Get me out of here. I deserve to be on the field, but he had to wait his time.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, he hated special teams. We had to talk him off the ledge several times. But he was clearly he's starting to turn into the great player he was. And,
I'm seeing like everybody else. LeVar Arrington, Brian Urlacher, they're out there
They're
balling.
shining, right?
Like I'm sitting here, kickoff return, punt coverage. I'm like, yo,
you're
fundamentals.
You're not judged on what you're doing here. You're judged off of your rookie class. At your position.
It was all good though. It was funny.
Mine was Dr. Doom, Robert Brazil.
Yeah.
I hadn't had a chance to talk to him a lot. But he is a funny, gregarious dude. Like, his personality.
It's a great interview, too. Yeah,
oh,
man.
my gosh, man. I really enjoyed talking to him, man. He such a great guy, full of wisdom, great stories. You know, he told me a story about his two roommates in the league in college. His roommate college was Walter Payton.
Wow.
And in the NFL was Earl Campbell.
Oh, wow.
So he
different
played
dudes.
two different dudes. And this dude is about 6'4" and a half.
Yes.
You know, he played at 240. I was like, oh, wow.
He was getting it.
Yeah, in the middle. He was about that life.
Yeah,
and it was back then when you were in the trenches,
man.
like,
They smoking
head
cigarettes
first.
on the sideline.
Yes. That beer at halftime, cigarettes. Yeah, it was the wild, wild west. So I enjoyed talking to Robert.
I've enjoyed tonight's show.
I have too, man.
I appreciate y'all having me down, man.
Did y'all enjoy yourselves?
Everybody here is having a great time. Look at this.
Did y'all?
They're like, turn the game on.
Yeah. Get them off. Get these bums off the stage.
No, trust me. With the way these games have been going, it's like keep the game off. Patriots, Bears coming up.
Right.
No, we've got it on here at 6 and Peabody. You can join us. Final thoughts, 30 seconds. Give us your assessment of this weekend's game. 2 o'clock kickoff, by the way, at Murray State for TSU.
Again, it comes down to which team's going to come off the bus for us. From this point on, it's going to be playoff football. I mean, we're vying for a championship, and we understand that. We know the stakes that are ahead of us. And again, I don't look at anybody's record. I look at their makeup, their mentality. I always look at the last 10 plays of the game to see if they quit or not. You know, and in every single one of those games, they have not quit. So we want to have our hands full this weekend.
Thanks for having us.
My man.
It's Eddie Show.
Keith Bullock.
Thank you, sir.
It's Eddie Show with Keith Bullock. And big thanks to the Low T Center and to Xander Insurance for making it happen. 102.5 The Game with Chase McCabe and everybody involved here. Thank you. 6th and Peabody for being a great host. You can still join us. We've got the game on and much more. And join us next week. Join us next week as we get set for another home game for TSU Tigers football at Nissan Stadium. Next Monday, 6 to 7, same time, same place on 102.5 The Game for the Eddie George Show, presented by the Low T Center and Xander Insurance.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.